Hello, everyone. Today we have the honor of receiving Dr. Maya Takagi. She is the acting representative for FAO in Argentina, and she's the lead of FAO's regional program for Latin America and the Caribbean. She holds a PhD in economic development, and she's an agricultural engineer specialized in public policy. Dr. Takagi, thank you so much for having this interview with us.
Hello, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity to being with you.
Um, so, uh, the first question that our audience would probably like to know is a little bit, if you could tell us a little bit about your academic background and former experiences before coming into FAO.
Okay, good. Yes, I'm a engineer. I worked as rural extensionist. My first job was as rural extensionist in Brazil.
Wow.
Then I worked in different public sectors. I also wanted to invest my career in developing and improving public policies. So I work in the state of São Paulo, Secretary of Agriculture, also the data foundation, the state-led um, data analysis, which is similar to the national statistics organization, but it's state-led in São Paulo. And I then I also worked in the Citizenship Institute. It's an NGO that supported the formulation of Zero Hunger Project because in between I did my master's, I did my PhD in Unicamp. Unicamp is also a state-led university, which started a postgraduate program on rural development, territorial development, and environment. So that's how I went from master's to PhD. And in between, I engaged with the Citizenship Institute led by Professor José Graziano, who was the former FAO Director General. And with him, we developed the Zero Hunger Project program first, and the project that became a policy in federal government in the first Lula's mandate in 2003. So we basically transformed a an idea, no, a project in a policy, in a public policy. And I worked in the federal government since 2003 to implement the Zero Hunger program that became the Food Security and Nutrition program for 2 years. Then I also worked in the National Research Organization, Embrapa, Agriculture Research Organization, which is related to the Ministry of Agriculture, and
Right.
also in the cabinet of President Lula for some year in the technical position. So, and in this in between, I was appointed as National Secretary for Food Security and Nutrition in the Ministry of Social Development from 2010 to 2012. Then in 2015, I joined FAO in headquarters as a social protection officer due to my experience in working in social protection. And since 2019, I was moved to Santiago as my
Right.
position as regional program leader.
Right. You're joining us from Santiago de Chile, just for the audience,
Yes,
no?
yes,
That's quite a career. I guess that the next thing that our audience would love to know is if you could tell us a little bit about your day to day in Santiago de Chile.
yes.
But I guess no day is the same as the other one.
Yeah, we organize. lots of events, no, of international cooperation-led events. We are having one exactly today, starting today on fire management. So I basically represent or try to represent FAO, no, in the welcoming, in giving some insights about the importance of each topic for FAO, for the countries, and how FAO can support. So I do lots of say more high level participation in those events. I manage a big team of more or less 200 people in total, led by, of course, the sub teams. So I do management meetings with them each 2 weeks to reinforce what we need to plan and monitor what we are doing. We try to align calendar of events also with other agencies. We have some working groups with other agencies, and it's an important topic because this is something that FAO needs to promote more partnerships. So at the regional level, we have different working groups with other United Nations agencies. We work a lot also with ECLAC, our Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, also promoting analytical work. So we promote more uh, workshops for developing some publications, joint publications. And I also give my comments to lots of publications and frameworks of FAO, at least putting the regional aspect content to the global, let's say, frameworks in different areas: soil, water, climate change, livestock, One Health. And we are also are in the phase of organizing our regional conference. The regional conference is the most important governance mechanism of FAO in the region, where we gather all the ministries of agriculture of the region to, let's say, give make accountability of FAO's work in the last biennium and request their views on the priorities of the program of work of FAO. So it's really, really important. And I'm the responsible also for the content of the discussion of those regional conference. So I also organize meetings to let's say planning meetings of that. So my day is full of meetings. We also have meetings with the other regions because we are one region. We have other four regions in Central Europe, in Africa, in Asia and the Pacific, and then north of Africa and Arab states. So we coordinate our work with the other regions in order to get our voices be heard or be considered in headquarters, because we are kind of the connection between the country offices and headquarters, no, as regions.
Right.
So we try to gather the points of view of the country's needs internally for FAO technical assistance to get to headquarters. So yeah, it's a lot of meetings, I must say, a lot of reading and comments, some missions. I also have missions to different places where we have important events to represent FAO. And for Argentina, as I am accumulating my function as regional program leader with FAO representative in Argentina, I also go on mission to Argentina to meet with the counterparts, national counterparts, the partners, the banks, and the team, no, internally to keep moving our agenda.
Right. And I can see that, well, that's quite an agenda first. And second, I can see that many of the programs at FAO are iterative processes by which you talk to national governments and you reformulate on and on. So it must be a lot of work. I guess that the next question is what climate change effects are could be expected in the region, and what would be potentially their impact in food production and also potential solutions.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we are already seeing the increase in losses in the agriculture sector due to the climate change. And these are some of the documents that we will share with the countries for decision making. And one of them is that currently more than 50% of the economic losses from disasters in general, climate related, occur in this region. And we have 6 out of the 10 countries with the highest losses relatively to the GDP in our region. We are seeing due to El Nino, La Nina, more intense droughts,
Right,
wildfire, more frequent and more extreme. So droughts, floods, and fires, it's kind of becoming the normal.
right,
And then, of course, it causes production losses, internal displacement, income losses, and deterioration of livelihoods because many families lose their means of income.
yes,
Uh, Most of them lose their assets and they need to rebuild everything again. So yes, we are seeing it already, this impact. Also, we are monitoring the impact of the change in temperature with the production of seeds, of crops.
right.
And we need to start looking for adjusting the varieties of the seeds to those changes in temperature and water availability.
I see. Yeah. Apart from that, well, we know that in parallel to climate change, there are other environmental issues linked to food production in the region. For example, excessive use of fertilizers, excessive use of pesticides, contamination of groundwater, among many others. Um, could you see in the future that the effects of climate change might be in food production might be exacerbated by this concurrent environmental crisis, environmental issues so
Mhm.
attached to food production?
Yeah, the thing is, it's not entirely clear. Some regions will lose, some others will gain production and productivity.
Right.
Uh, so it's hard to get the full picture. And then this is what no, we need to work together with IPCC, with the different United Nations agencies and think tanks on having the better, how can I say, analysis of
Yeah.
the more aggregated context. But what we see in terms, at least in terms of disasters and losses, yes, it is increasing in aggregate terms. No,
Yeah.
with the increasing in temperature, it becomes the events, the climate events become more extreme,
Right.
and these extremeness lead, lead to more hurricanes,
Yeah.
um, and tempests, let's say,
Yes.
heavy rainfall, and all this leads to more losses. In terms of the temperature variation, it needs to be considered, that there will have some regions with loss and others that may gain more. We need to see this, let's say, crop by crop, in terms of, let's say, grains, in terms of coffee, for example. there are different pros and cons, no, with the change in temperature and the height of the
I see.
production areas.
Right.
We there's also prediction of changing in the, let's say, the fish
Mm-hmm.
distribution across the ocean areas, where you will need to adjust a lot, how can I say, the catch of
Right.
the and the management and the sustainable management of fish stock due to the changing temperature of the ocean.
Right. Right. And we would like to remind our audience that FAO is not only about cattle and about agriculture, but also about fishing and about aquaculture. So that's an important aspect that we would like. We usually like to um, bring forth to the audience because FAO does a lot of work in food production in general. Um,
Yeah, just not to forget,
yes,
we have kind of this dual nature of work, no? In my place, no, in the region, in support to the countries, we do technical assistance. We assist countries, no,
right.
in improve their agriculture, their food production, their food consumption, also, and the processing, no, also to be adjusted to the control mechanisms, also analysis, no, of trends, of prices and
Yes,
trade. So that is the technical assistance, and that is the normative work of FAO, which is much more coordinated at headquarters level, where we also contribute as a region with inputs, but we also have our publications. So FAO has some flagship publications, which I invite
right.
all to see in food security and nutrition, in the situation of agriculture, which is the SOFA, in the situation of forestry, situation of fisheries, situation of commodities. We have
I see.
some flagship publications each 1 or 2 years with exactly the data and the analysis of the trends. We also have a good publication on the future of food and agriculture, the FOFA, which predicts a bit future scenarios of food and agriculture in the world, um, uh, which we use also not in terms of programming and to sensitize governments on what are the pathways that will lead to a better future in terms of use of natural resources and guarantee access to food to all the population in the world. Sorry for
No,
the
no, no.
interruption.
It's an absolute pleasure to hear you say this, and these publications are indeed available to anyone. We'll make sure to post a link to the different publications FAO produces. Do you know that, or are we aware from current research or, or projections if also the supplies for producers might increase in cost in the context of climate change, or is that still like a question for research?
Yeah, I think it's a question for research. We still have lots of improvements to do in efficiency of production and processing, transportation, no, and consumption.
Right.
What what I think is the important element to consider is that the agriculture and food sector is guaranteed that will continue increasing the production because the demand will continue to be increasing.
Increase. Right.
Unfortunately, it's still not enough for all the population, but as we want to eradicate hunger and guarantee food security, and the population is still growing, the demand will continue to be growing until
Indeed.
2050
Indeed.
at least. No?
Indeed. Yeah.
So it is again how can I say, it's already a gain, let's say,
Yes.
sector. No?
Yes.
However, there are threats that needs to be considered. One is natural resources management. We are degrading our soils. We
Indeed.
are using unsustainably water. Water is becoming more and more scarce. Um, and of course, the adjustment to the change in temperature will also
Right.
impact it. So that is why, although it's a sector that will still continue to be growing, there are important elements to be considered in the planning of this, let's say, growing of the sector.
I see.
Also because it can generate, the sector can also generate exclusion of smallholder farmers, of indigenous populations, through land access, no?
Yeah.
And also excluding more women than men in the recognition, no, of access to assets
Indeed.
like land and titles and services. But it's still a growing sector, which there are lots of uh, analysis to be made, as you said,
Yes.
in order for us to be more efficient. Still, we think, let's say, the, uh, the diet of the population is not optimal.
Indeed.
Uh, the food for poorest families are not the healthier that we would like to be. We are not being able to provide healthier food, let's say, fruits and vegetables in an affordable manner. It's still expensive, more expensive than the processed foods, which are less healthy.
Right.
So poor families are also, apart from being suffering from malnutrition, most of them suffer also from overweight and obesity,
Yes.
which is related to the affordability of the food, no,
Yes.
healthy. This is another element that needs to be considered.
Indeed. And in doing so, you answered at least partly, if not totally, my next question. How will climate change affect um, our potential for food insecurity in the region, and if there are specific public policies that nations in Latin America and the Caribbean should be considering to avoid that scenario?
Yeah, no, it's a very important question. No, what we see year after year is that rural populations are poorer than urban. Uh, Although we see more urbanization, let's say, people moving from rural areas to urban areas, in quantitative terms, we have more urban population than rural areas. It's in the rural areas where the extreme poverty is concentrated. Let's say in rural areas, two-thirds are extreme poor. Let's say it's
Yeah.
because of the different, let's say, income structure that they have. They are not always receive wages or from formal employment. They rely a lot on natural resources. So the impact of climate change will be felt much more in rural population, in smallholder farmers, indigenous population who rely on natural resources, which means their food insecurity will be more affected, no? Probably. Yes, there are important policies that can address it. One is social protection.
Hmm.
So everybody should have rights to social protection. Let's say a social that can be cash transfer, for example, but predicted in a policy in law that is regular, that has an
Yeah.
amount that is sufficient for a healthy diet, at least for no for in a regular way, not once, but for the whole year. And it also needs to adjust to crisis, no? Which we
Right.
call uh, uh, this flexible social protection in order to overcome the income losses due to disasters. So it needs to be flexible and sufficient. It needs to be guaranteed by the right because it cannot be used politically because food is a right. Access to food
Indeed.
is a right. So yes, this is one of the elements. The better the coverage, the wider the coverage, the better.
Right.
And what we see is that lots of countries have social protection mechanisms, but they are not integrated. They are fragmented, led by different sectors, different ministries. And it's not conducive to a better coverage according to the needs. The other policy which is important is school feeding,
Mm-hmm.
but a school feeding that comes with the prepared food, not
Right.
snacks, let's say. So, and then combining it with local procurement, what we call food procurement, not from family farmers, local family farmers, it's better because you connect your purchase power as a state, as an institution. You connect this with the I say most vulnerable farmers that can supply, that can increase their capacity to supply food locally,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can also increase the nutrition education to children, showing from where no the vegetables are coming, and
Yes.
promote more natural food consumption. Those are two, at least I will suggest it, at consumption level that are important. The second, of course, is a set of policies to develop rural areas, which
Mhm.
are more prone to climate change and disasters,
Right.
like differentiated policies for family farmers or smallholder farmers. Those are very important policies that we see in the region.
Yes. Yes. Dr. Takagi, it's been an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for your service to Argentina and the region. We really appreciate it. And Dr. Takagi is from Brazil, so desculpe, meu português não é muito avançado, mas é uma honra conhecer a senhora. And well, thank you so much. And we will continue our reporting for Campus Climate Corps from COP30 Brazil.
Excellent. Thank you, and wish all the success to you and
Thanks.
your group.
Thanks.